Top 6 Great Depression foods that are actually tasty. Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to our channel. 6. Mock apple pie. Everything in this recipe is for that of an apple pie. Except for the apples, which are replaced by crackers. It may sound crazy, but amazingly, it tastes so much like real apple pie that people still make it just to mess with their friends and family when they reveal there are no apples in it at all. What makes it taste so similar? Apparently, it's a mix of the cream of tartar and lemon zest that gives the pie a fruity and acidic taste similar to that of apples. Then the cinnamon and sugar make you think of real apple pie, and your brain does the rest. If it looks like apple pie and smells like apple pie, it must taste like it, too. How do you like the crackers? 5. Prune pudding. Today, you can waltz into any Walmart and buy some pudding mix for about 20 cents. But during the Great Depression, even a fairly simple treat like pudding was hard to come by. To combat this, many Americans turned to prunes. Why prunes? They were healthy and able to give you sugars and nutrients that aren't found in other, more popular fruits. They might not be the prettiest or the tastiest, but they were practical. Even beyond their taste and health benefits, prune trees could grow easily in bad soil and with less water, unlike many other fruit trees, which required near-perfect conditions. Thus, prunes abounded in popularity, popping up in recipes like this one. 4. Mystery spice cake. A common component of Great Depression recipes is surprise ingredients. Things that taste great, but someone may be weary to try if you tell them how it's made. For example, would you rather eat mystery spice cake or tomato cake? No matter which one you choose, it's the same. Mystery spice cake's secret ingredient is tomatoes, which, thanks to Campbell's canned soup, was cheap and available to even the poorest Americans. Other fats and typical cake ingredients, such as eggs and butter, were scarce or expensive, so the soup or canned tomatoes added moisture to the cake. The cake stayed popular even beyond the Depression due to its interesting taste. Celebrated poet of the 1960s, Sylvia Plath baked often, and tomato soup cake was one of her specialties. 3. Hoover stew. No, not like the vacuum, like the president. In the 1930s, people were angry at the government, at the employers, and at anyone with power who wasn't doing enough to help them. As more and more Americans became homeless, their hatred grew. With few ways to express this, they took to naming bad things after President Herbert Hoover, the man they blamed for it all. It started with Hoovervilles, the impromptu shantytowns that housed thousands of people throughout the Depression. Then came Hoover stew. With just 4 ingredients, it's hard to mess up this mix of macaroni, hot dogs, tomatoes, and corn. Fresh, canned, it doesn't matter. Depression-era Americans made do with what they had. 2. Water pie. One of the most famous recipes to come out of the 1930s has made a comeback nearly a century later thanks to the social media outlet TikTok. During the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, TikTokers shared videos of themselves cooking and trying the weird recipe, which prompted even more young people to try it. The consensus was almost always positive, with teens smacking their lips in surprise at how custard-like and sugary the pie tasted. The starch in the flour allows the water to set and become somewhat solid, making the pie less liquid than you might expect. And the fun doesn't have to stop with water, that was just the one thing Americans always had access to. Today, you can substitute it with any drink, like Sprite or Coke. 1. Wacky cake. Don't have any eggs, butter, or milk? Don't fret. You're still able to make a cake, as long as it's this one from over 100 years ago. Wacky cake, also called depression cake or eggless, butterless, milkless cake, is so called because of the absence of those aforementioned ingredients, which almost always make up the cake batter of any pastry. Despite this oddity, it's extremely easy to make. Unlike traditional cakes, bakers just need to mix the ingredients together. No folding or mixing wet and dry, you can just throw everything in a big pan and stick it in the oven. Though the origin of the wacky cake can only be traced back to 1940, it was likely created before then, during the Depression, when a family might be short on any of the regular active ingredients in desserts. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen, because I'm sure you'll love them.